1,000-pound sister Tammy Slaton overslept and missed family 5K run, Amy jokes. I don't run. Tammy Slaton and Amy Slaton both signed up for local 5Ks, but only one made it across the finish line. An exclusive clip from Tuesday's episode of 1,000-pound. Sisters Tammy and Amy decide to run a 5K with their siblings in hopes of improving their endurance and stamina before going on a family trip to London. Tammy misses the start, but later says she overslept. But the rest of the family shows up and they split up to tackle the route. As they head off with Amy, Amanda realizes they are the last runners of the entire group. I only run when I'm chasing my kids, Amy jokes. So my goal today is just to finish. I don't care how long it takes, as long as I finish. Misty and Chris's wife Brittany were also walking with them and started complaining about how exhausting it was running up the hills. My plan is to keep running until I finish, Brittany said, to which Misty added, just keep going until you can't take it anymore or you finish. Whichever comes first. The two then rounded a corner and caught up with Chris, who was walking alone at a fast pace. But after they couldn't catch up, he leaves them behind. I can't believe he walked away like that after we caught up with him, and left us behind, Misty says. That's mean. If you can't keep up, get out of my way, says Chris. I don't really care where other people are. If I don't slow down and keep up, I don't think I'm going to finish. Tammy is late for the race and talks about how disappointed she is in herself because she overslept. I really wanted to come out here and participate, she says. It's my fault I overslept and my phone died. But I'll be here and cheer them on when they come. You can do this. It's about time, Amy says, looking at her sister. At least you're here. 1,000-pound Tammy Slaton sisters lose 500 pounds, nearly crash into tree while learning to drive. Tammy Slaton finally gets behind the wheel. In People's exclusive clip from Tuesday's episode of 1,000-pound. The 38-year-old is traveling with her brother, Chris, who helps her drive the golf cart. Chris tells Tammy to drive away, warning her don't kill me as she hangs on to the pole while she makes a few sharp turns. It kind of feels good when you drive off, she says. Oh, don't worry, buddy. Just do it. Get it done. Tammy panics as she nearly hits a tree with her car and has to hit the brakes at the last minute. Chris calmly reminds her to hit the brake pedal in time and encourages her to keep driving down the road. It's still scary, but I have to remember to breathe and not panic. Especially if there's a tree coming up, she jokes. After a while of riding the gold cart, Chris asks Tammy if she'll try again. Maybe in a few years. I think you'll just get used to it. Let's give it a few years, she replies, laughing, as Chris shakes his head in frustration. Glad you decided to drive today. I'm proud of myself. But when it comes to cars, that's a bit much, Tammy adds in a confessional. Chris tells Tammy she doesn't need to wait years and that she needs to get her driver's license soon so she can be more independent and do what she wants. I don't understand why Tammy doesn't want to learn to drive a car. She knows how frustrating it is to wait or call someone to give you a ride, he says. Maybe it's the fear of not needing anyone because she went from being a person who is bedridden 24/7 to being able to do whatever she wants. And being able to drive is the last piece of the puzzle. Nothing is going to hold you back except fear, he adds, before telling his sister. Chris says. Tammy Slaton of 1,000 pounds. Sisters says she wants to learn to drive after she loses 200 kilograms. The 37-year-old recently celebrated losing enough weight to fit in the front seat of a car and wear a seat belt. Tammy Slaton has high hopes for getting behind the wheel. Sisters posted a TikTok video in response to a follower who said he'd been following her weight loss since the beginning. On Sunday, the 37-year-old star of 1,000 pounds. He asked the reality star if she knew how to drive now that she's lost enough weight to sit in the front seat of a car. "I would love to learn it eventually, but I'm too scared right now." Or if she wanted to learn how to drive. "There's a lot going on, but it's baby steps," she said. "I've driven golf carts before, and admittedly, I wasn't very fast. But I'd love to drive a car one day." The fan's question came just after Tammy celebrated losing enough weight, a milestone of 1,000 pounds, to be able to sit in the front seat of a car and fasten her seat belt. The sisters were documented doing just that. In a special clip from the series, Tammy was at home with her brother, Chris. When Chris suggested she get in the front seat of the car now that she's lost so much weight. "We're gonna try and put you in the front seat today, are you game?" Chris asks. "Yeah," she replies reluctantly. "I'm just not sure if I'll be able to fit between the door and the console. The last time I sat in the front. But I'm willing to try and see how it goes," Tammy says. "It's probably been 15 or 20 years." Chris then jokes that they'll squish her in the car and that as long as the door is able to shut, they're good. Tammy hesitantly makes her way outside and uses her walker to get to the car. Her attitude shifts completely when she's able to sit in the front seat and buckle her seat belt. "I did it," she says with a big smile. Tammy actually realizes that she sat down in the chair and she's good to go and the door can close. You can tell the little battle that she just beat made her feel wonderful. 'Cause even at 16 she couldn't sit in the front seat buckled up, Chris says in the clip. "And now it's on like Grey Poupon, baby. Sitting in the front seat, it's like a whole new world," Tammy adds. "You're experiencing everything from a different point of view. Instead of being the second person to see stuff, you're the first person," she said with a laugh. At the time, Tammy opened up about how life-changing her weight loss journey has been and the other milestones she's reached after losing 440 pounds. She had bariatric surgery in July 2022 and is now down to 285 pounds, down from her highest weight of 725 pounds. "Of the big changes that I have gone through this past year is probably small to most people," she told. "But for me it was huge. Just being able to walk without a walker or be pushed in a wheelchair, and no oxygen. I don't even sleep with it at night anymore," she boasted. Then it was being able to fit in a regular vehicle, front seat, and then the belt buckle, and not have to use an extender now. "So I mean, just what seems minor to some people is giant for me."